Okay, good day class. So today we're going to discuss about what to build first. So should we do the hollow blocks or the beams or and the post during construction? Okay, so these are very important concepts in building technology that you must understand, especially that someday you'll be practicing as architects or as design build contractors, depending the career path that you will choose. So what should go first? Are the hollow blocks or doing the posts and the beams? Okay, so let's review this video. So I think I'll post the original link of the one who did this. Okay, so let's review uh, what
Pag-uusapan natin
the
ang
lessons
tungkol dito.
saying.
Alright, i-discuss muna natin itong unang method. Dito, nauna ang hollow blocks bago pa magbuhos ng poste at beam. Ito ang madalas na practice ngayon, lalo na sa bungalow at two-story residential na project.
Yes, that's quite true. Plus, this is usually the practice of many contractors here in the Philippines.
At number one reason kung bakit ginagawa ang ganitong method ay para makatipid. Tipid sa forma, tipid sa scaffolding, tipid sa man-hour.
Yes, you can save in the forms, you can save in the scaffoldings. So, by the way, the forms, those are uh, what you're going to, uh, that is where, uh, like, the you're going to pour your concrete. Okay, the scaffolding will serve as the support to keep the forms.
Kaya tipid sa gastos. Yan ang ilan sa advantage ng ganitong method. Pero ano naman kaya ang mga disadvantage? Ito. Una, malaki ang chance na magka-honeycomb o ampaw.
So this is the result class of honeycomb. Okay, this is what happens if there are gaps when you pour concrete.
ang poste. Bakit? Dahil ginamit ang mga hollow blocks bilang format.
Yeah. Because in this method class, if you do the hollow blocks first, instead of having a smooth surface as forms, you're going to use the faces of the hollow blocks.
At alam natin na ang mga hollow blocks ay rough finish, madaming pores o maliliit na butas na pwedeng maging cause ng pag-leak ng grout. At ito yung madalas na dahilan ng pagkakaroon ng ampaw o ng honeycomb. Pangalawa, mas prone sa crack ang mga wall sa ganitong method. Bakit? Explain natin yan sa second method, kung saan mauunang mabuhusan ang poste at beam. Pangatlo, ito ay ang maaring pagtumba o overturn ng pader pag tinamaan ng malakas na hangin o ng earthquake dahil sa kawalan ng poste at beam na sumusuporta dito. Ika-apat, apektado ang proseso ng finishing dahil usually, pagkatapos mabuhusan ng poste, dito unang nare-reflect ang mga reference elevation ng flooring, ceiling at maging ang layout.
So another thing class is that if you're going to use the hollow block method or doing first the hollow blocks in construction is that it's going to be hard to define the levels. Okay, so in finishing, uh, it will look uneven. Okay,
Layout ng hollow blocks at finish nito. At dito din malalaman kung kinakailangan bang mag-adjust sa layout ng hollow blocks. Dahil hindi pwedeng ang structural member o poste at beam ang mag-adjust para sa layout ng hollow blocks. At ang huli, at ang pinaka-importante sa lahat, ay ang effect nito sa structural strength o tibay ng mga poste at beam. Bakit? Alright.
okay. So as he has stated earlier, so it has an effect on the structural strength. Okay. If you look at it closely, you won't get the structural section that you desire.
Let's assume ang design ng size ng poste niya dito ay 250 by 300 mm. And visually, dito pa lang, makikita mo na hindi magiging perfect na 250 by 300 ang magiging size ng poste niya.
So correctly.
Dahil dito,
So using this method, you won't have a perfect size of column. So it's going to be uneven from the top to the bottom. If you're going to do the hollow blocks first, though it could be faster. Um, but remember, class, the concept of preventive cost. Okay? So the reason why the client hires an architect and an engineer in his project is to make sure that he will get value, and that value is from the preventive cost. If you're going to do this, it's too cheaper at first, then you'll earn a lot, but the client will suffer. Okay, and then you will also suffer because you'll have to redo the entire construction process.
sa non-uniform shape na termination ng mga hollow blocks. Dahil dito, apektado ang shape o design ng poste, kaya siguradong malaki ang magiging impact neto sa desired strength ng poste. At ganun din sa beam.
Okay, so look at this beam. So it is uneven. Okay, so it's not perfectly shaped. Okay, so not only will your structure look unprofessionally done, it will not look professionally done. Okay, one indicator, class, that your project is professionally done is that if you look at the edges, is that it's really very sharp at the corners. Okay, then but you can't achieve that if you're going to do the hollow blocks first.
Alright, i-discuss naman natin tong second method. Dito naman, nauna nang buhusan ng mga poste at beam bago pa mag-install ng hollow blocks. Ito ay considered as a standard method sa building construction, regardless kung low-rise, mid-rise at high-rise na building. O by the way, ang low-rise ay building with 1 to 5 stories o may taas na 4 meter to 16 meter. Ang mid-rise naman o medium-rise building ay 6 to 15 stories o may taas na 19 meter to 46 meter. At high-rise naman ay building na may 16 to 60 stories.
Okay, so I think this is additional knowledge, but this will also be discussed in your uh, building laws. So that's the definition of the low rise, mid rise, and high rise.
O may taas na 49 hanggang 181 meters. At sunod sa high-rise ay ang very tall building. Ito yung mga gusali na lampas na sa 181 meters. Tulad na nagtataas ang building dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Tulad ng PBCom sa Makati na may taas na 259 meters. At yung pinakataas na building dito sa atin, ang Grand Hyatt Manila na pride ng Taguig City na may taas na 318 meters. Anyway, napapalayo na tayo. Balik tayo sa topic. Again, standard method na yung pinag-uusapan natin, kung saan mauuna ang buhos ng poste at beam bago mag-install ng hollow blocks. Alright, unahin natin i-discuss ang advantage ng ganitong method. First, dahil ginamitan ng forma ang all sides ng poste at properly sealed ang mga connections, the less ang chance ng pag-leak ng grout. A good way para maiwasan ang ampaw o honeycomb.
Okay, so there's less chances of honeycombs if you use the correct forms. Okay, in form slash, you can either use uh, plywood or phenolic. Okay, but in my experience, I think phenolic will do much better because the surface will be smoother. Then always make sure, class, that if you're going to use plywood as your forms, that they are thick. Because if you're going to use the cheapest plywood available, then there always be chances for honeycomb. Because once you pour concrete, so the concrete will flow, and if it becomes too heavy and your plywood is too thin, so your forms will uh, collapse, or it will be uneven.
tulad ng na-mention kanina. Pangalawa, mas maa-assure ang tamang shape at sukat ng mga poste.
Yeah, this is correct. If you use this method, you'll achieve the right sizes of your posts.
Sa ganitong paraan, makakasiguro na maa-attain ang design o tamang strength ng poste. Pangatlo, na-mention ko kanina na mas prone ang wall sa crack sa unang method. Ganito usually ang sistema sa pag-i-install ng hollow blocks sa mga massive construction site. Pagkatapos magbuhos ng poste at beam, mag-i-install ng hollow blocks, and then, pagdating sa termination,
Okay, so one of the advantage class, I think this is one of the main advantages if you're going to do the columns and the beams first, is that you can be assured that you can achieve a higher precision for the vertical leveling of the hollow blocks. Okay, so the leveling is important. Okay, so that can you make sure that when you apply your finishing, concrete finishing on both sides, that it will look sharp and it will look straight. Okay, so if you have a straight level, it means uh, that your material, you can still uh, achieve your targets in terms of material quantities or cost.
o sa mga dulo na hollow blocks bago ang poste, naglalagay ng styrofoam o styrofoam na singlapad ng hollow blocks at may kapal na 12 mm. Ganon din sa soffit o ibabang bahagi ng beam kung saan nakalapat ang hollow blocks. Ang purpose ng styrofoam, ito ay nagsisilbing seismic separation joint sa pagitan ng wall
Kasi this is good additional knowledge.
mula sa poste at beam. Seismic separation joint, o sa simpleng paliwanag, mula sa salitang separation o paghihiwalay. Ang styro ay naghihiwalay sa wall mula sa poste at beam. At sa ganitong paraan, kung ano man yung matatanggap na load ng poste at beam, dahil sa earthquake load, wind load, o sa iba't ibang load, hindi ito may transfer sa wall na maaaring maging dahilan sa pag-develop ng mga crack sa wall. Kabaliktar nito ay kapag nauna ang hollow blocks bago magbuhos, ibig sabihin, kung ano man yung load na matatanggap ng poste at beam, dahil nakadikit na yung mga hollow blocks o yung wall sa mga ito, ay malaki ang chance na magkakaroon din ng reaction sa wall na maaaring maging sanhi ng pag-crack ng wall finish o maging sa mismong hollow block. At ayaw natin ito mangyari dahil instead na nakatipid, mapapagastos ka lalo sa pag-aayos ng pader ng bahay mo. Idagdag ko lang, I'm sure nakakita ka na din ng ganito. Mukha siyang design o accent, lalo na sa mga plain na exterior wall. Dahil mukha lang siyang groove. Pero ang laki ng role nito sa pag-prevent ng mga cracks sa wall. Again, tawag dito ay seismic joint. At itong gitna naman, tawag dito ay control joint. Nilalagyan ng mga ito ng sealant bilang filler. Ang karakteristik ng concrete ay pag naulanan, nag-a-absorb yan ng water. At ito ay nag-expand. And pagka naarawan na ulit o dry na ulit yung concrete, mag-shrink naman ito. At yan ang purpose ng control joint, para hindi magbanggaan ng mga concrete na pwedeng maging cause ng mga cracks sa wall. This is a good way para iwas cracks o sira ng mga walls. Aha! Kaya I would recommend na gawin pa din ang standard.
Okay, so that was a very informative video. But these two methodologies class, once you venture into the practice of design, build, or construction, you're going to encounter, going to choose if you're going to do the hollow blocks first, or you're going to do the standard, which is doing your beams and your posts and beams before laying out the hollow blocks. So I think this is a good comparison already, that you have learned also about seismic expansion joints, etc., to avoid cracks, which is not present when you do the hollow blocks method. Okay, So, like what I've told you before, in Building Tech 2, you're going to uh, draw details of your construction drawings. But upon doing that drawings, you must ensure that you have the right details. Okay, so imagine class that you're doing a detail for your walls, your hollow blocks, but you failed to specify the construction joints or the connections between the hollow blocks and the columns, etc. So it's going to be a disaster in the site. So in the way you draw your plans, you must understand the context of how it's going to be implemented in the reconstruction. So that's why part of our lectures are about the actual practice. Okay, so that you can apply the good practices in construction in your drawings, because your drawings and the actual construction implementation should go hand in hand and not against each other. Okay, so thank you. Then good luck with your midterm examinations next week, and stay safe.